Hello and welcome. This is Jensen with Soft Edges, and this is your week ahead reading for the week of July 27th until August 2nd, 2026. We are entering the 8th month of the year. This year is both zooming by and dragging very slowly. Are you feeling that too? I'm recording this as the nodes are shifting signs. This happens every 18 months. So as I record this, not only is the South node moving into Leo from Virgo and the North node moving into Aquarius from Pisces, Saturn is also stationing retrograde. The moon finally moved into Capricorn. We've been having really long void of course moons, which I feel like makes us move slowly. It's, to me, it's not always easy to grasp what's going on in here. And the sun opposes Pluto. Great news. There's just a lot happening right now. So this is, like I said, I'm recording this Sunday, the 26th. And yeah, there's a lot going on. And this is a busy week. I know I had kind of like moved away from talking about the astrology, but let's be for real. It finds its way in anyways. So Monday we have the sun trining Neptune and then the sun sextiling Uranus. We're still having lots of activations with those outer planets. That's part of this basket configuration that is being discussed ad nauseum, which, I don't really mind. I don't really mind everyone's takes. I think that I was curious about all of the hype about it, and I think we are not going to know what this all means for a long time, right? But to be aware of this and to have so many people being aware of what's happening in the sky and how it is possibly echoing what's happening here, both on Earth and internally and through generations, it's just powerful. I feel really grateful to be part of this time. I digress. That's going on Monday. On Tuesday, we have Venus squaring Mars. This is a little spicy. This could be, I think this could be a fun little activation, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see stuff around like sex and sexuality pop up in the news or around us. On Wednesday, the 29th, we have the Jupiter cazimi and the full moon in Aquarius. So if you don't know what a cazimi is, it's when a planet and the sun are at the same degree. And that came up a lot in the channeling I did before this reading. And I'm trying to decide if I want to talk about it now or wait. Maybe it'll make its way in. Yeah, I'll just say that the whole time I'm like, working with the energies, I am feeling the sun beat on my face. And it was just really present as I was feeling into the energy of, the omnipresence of the sun. Does that make sense? So the light that's available, the light that's being shown on something. We have a lot of we have a lot of lunar cards that came up in this week's cards. We'll get into that in a little bit, but it's really making me think about the light that's being shown on things right now. In some ways, in ways that are slightly distorted. And I'm saying that because, again, we got a lot of moon energy, which is our intuition, but also the moon is but a reflection. Like, we're only able to see the light of the moon because of what the sun reflects on it. So I'm really being brought into the Jupiter and the sun of it all. We're still talking about that, which is happening on Wednesday with the full moon, is really making me think about both being able to hold what might be distorted and truth at the same time. And the only way to know what is truth is to come back here into the body. We're in Leo season, and this is when the Jupiter cazimi is happening and where it's happening. And Leo is really heart-led. It's really heart-led. It's really loyal. And again, I'm feeling into, what are we being loyal to? Is it something else? Is it us? Is it something bigger than us? What is right and true for each of us? I think that's going to be coming more and more into our awareness as this week comes. There's also this like activation, this this energetic charging that's happening this week. There's this particular Kazemi with Jupiter and the Sun. I was getting tons of how do I say this? Like plasma, electromagnetic field, heart charging. I'm going to strongly invite each of us to find moments to drop into the body this week and be like, okay, what's happening right now? What's going on? Because I think there's going to be a lot of information in here, especially because I'm kind of jumping into the reading. I pulled what is the overarching, like planetary, asteroid, whatever energy that we're going to really be feeling into this week. And we got Nessus, which is ancestral healing. So interesting. It was not what I was expecting, but as I was like reading through the guidebook, this has a good guidebook, and I'll touch on that when I flip the camera around. But I think there's going to be a lot of information coming in this week regarding who are we before all of our conditioning? Who are we with all this conditioning? Who are we in our multifaceted, multi-universal parts of us? Who are we inhabiting this form right now? And yeah, again, the invitation keep coming back to the heart so we know what is true for us now as this sun energy is kind of baking away some of the patterns and stories that we've been really living into. And again, that comes up in the reading, and I'm excited to talk more about that. So besides that, let me just check if there was one other thing for August. But yeah, we have a full jam-packed week. I mean, what's new? That's what we've been living in. Yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of key astrology for this week. And again, I'll talk about this more on the cards, but I feel like the key takeaway this week is to find moments to feel into you. Find moments to I'm finding that in some of the work that I'm sharing with people right now. Heavy emphasis on gratitude journaling right now. Wake up in the morning and write one thing. This is a big invitation. Write one thing you're grateful for. Bring light, bring energy to what is working, because it's easy to look at all the things that are not working. I wanted to mention too, I was going to not, but I think I'm going to take this opportunity to do so. Last week was intense. And maybe in your day-to-day, you didn't experience the intensity, but I'll say, like, for me personally, there was just this like shadow of intense energy that I could never quite touch. I never really knew where it was coming from, but there was like this pressure, this pressurizing that I was feeling. And I'll say that I woke up this morning feeling a release, and maybe that's the node switching, and maybe that's the Saturn retrograde beginning. Because I've been listening to a lot of other astrologers, and this doesn't feel negative, this Saturn retrograde. This feels kind of welcomed, because time has been moving so fast, and here comes Saturn, the timekeeper. Slow, he's stopped right now. It's like a big pause. So that's an invitation this week too, is big pause energy. Things are swirling and moving, and I think that as the nodes change into the collective energy of Aquarius, I want to say verses, but it's not verses, but in conjunction with, in tandem with, in relationship with, even at an opposition, the self-noted Leo, the individual, and authenticity, and coming into, if I want to be authentic, who am I trying to belong with, and at what cost? And yeah, this more leaning into authenticity that is like, I don't care if I don't belong. I don't care if I'm connecting more to the fringe, the grassroots. Man, that's my wish for this transit. I'm going to like put this in the ethers now. My wish for the node switching is the rise of the grassroots, the coming back to our communities, the communal care. Aquarius can be quite detached in a lot of ways, but I think that we're so invested and we're so emotionally overcome by all the things that are happening right now, it would be a little bit of a relief to be able to zoom out just enough for us to get a better handle on, clarity. I'm really getting a sense of clarity, and I'm really curious to see how that comes in. I'm trying to think if anything else came in the channeling before I flip the camera. I'm remembering now that as I'm like experiencing the sun recharging, so there was a recharging quality this week. I felt the sun on me and really alive and like infusing the plasma and opening my heart and like really warming me in a lot of ways. I remember in the distance, I could really hear the wind in the trees. And it reminds me that we still might experience this pressure or this maybe it's not pressure, but this experience of there's something happening still. There's like a stirring and you can feel it and it's just in the periphery and you can still sense it. And it's just far enough away that you know it's there. I felt less of this, and I wonder if this is a relatable experience. It was less about the anxiety of the swirling wind, aka the conversations, the behind the scenes, the things that are changing on the periphery, like just outside of what I can touch and feel, what we can touch and feel. It feels today's energy felt and into the week is what I'm saying, is less about the anxiety of what's coming and more into there is something coming and I'm still here and I'm still present in my body. I still have to be present in my body. I still have to take care of my body, which brings me back to the practices that I started talking about and got distracted. Journaling, like find yourself a fucking practice, especially this week. I really get a sense you're gonna want to keep track of what's coming through right now. I'm really inviting people to try some channel journaling. There's another name for it I can't think of right now, but really like unconscious, kind of like getting in touch with something that's bigger than yourself, but is also you. You are that bigger self, like consciously connecting with your higher self this week and recognizing the same sun that warms you is you, the same wind that's swirling in the periphery that might bring anxiety, but also like excitement is also you. Your day-to-day experience, what is like the way you're interacting with people, the way people are interacting with you is all you. So we may as well get in touch with what's going on internally, what's going on in our inner worlds, because there is information here. And I think we don't have to seek it this week. I think the invitation is more around notice how it's already moving through you. I'm hearing the wind again. And right now, the wind is saying to me, it wants to bring clarity. So there's conversations that might come in this week that surprise you, unexpected. It's making me feel excited. It's making me feel invigorated. And I'm asking the guides right now, like, if we're moving too fast, will we still catch it? And the guides are saying yes. And they're reiterating that there might be a slight, I mean, very slight, if you notice it, a very slight downshift this week. I'm curious to see if this will be throughout Saturn's retrograde period or if it's just right now. Yeah. I'm excited. Let's see what happens. I'm going to flip the camera around. We'll talk about the cards. As always, thank you so much for being here. I'm curious to know how this resonates for you. And I'm feeling more excited this week. I'm feeling more excited this week than I was last week. And I guess the final part of this is my positivity, my excitement is less around. I know that there are still really intense, hard things happening in the world, in the periphery, internally. We're also experiencing big shifts, whether we're aware of it or not. It's happening. It's almost impossible to ignore. But regardless, I feel like this week we may be a little bit more bolstered than we have been in the past couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, I'm turning this around. Let's get into this week's reading. Thanks again for being here. So let's start with the ancestral healing. And it's so interesting that when I'm looking at this, I see now, N-O-W. The time is now. The time is now to be doing this deep work to reprogram, deprogram, recalibrate the habits, what do I want to say? The ways in which we've been moving about our lives, it's time. We just finished up the Mercury retrograde in Cancer, and I think that for a lot of people, Cancer rules ancestry. It's like the ancestral waters. I can't help but wonder if a lot of people had a lot of stuff that came up over the last couple weeks regarding, the webs that we're kind of caught in that we might not have. I mean, we did choose on some level, but are ready to unweave and reweave into a different way of existence, a different way of being that feels more right for you now, that forgives and heals your lineage going forward and back. I'm going to read the guidebook for this. This is really curious about this energy. So it says Nessus is the, let me see if I can see this. Yes. Nessus is the asteroid for ancestral healing and is linked to revenge, betrayal, mistrust, and guilt. It's a darker asteroid that can activate our shadow side, guiding us to travel to be uncomfortable in order to transcend what we find here. It represents some of the ancestral wounds we come into life with, especially the ones that we're destined to put an end to. Big, big, big energy this week. I love this. Nessus helps us weed through wounding that has been passed down through generations, especially wounds that are connected to oppression and being taken advantage of. So it says, like, perhaps there are things coming up in your life that's linked to ancestral wounds that are part of your destiny to clear. When it comes to this asteroid, healing has to happen in its own divine timing. There is a limit to how much we can control. It is important for us to be aware of the wounding. Yeah, it says additional meanings. Observe repeated patterns in your family. Know you hold the power to clear generational wounds. Find ways to evoke a sense of trust and security in life. Trusting in the divine. Trust in divine timing. Release guilt you're feeling. Forgive yourself. This situation is a blessing in disguise. I think I'm going to say that again. This situation, if something comes up this week, is a blessing in disguise. Especially, I get a sense that it will be related to family, and if not family, then a wound that originated in your lineage. All right, Monday, Tuesday, big, big, big energy. I kind of mentioned in the intro, we have a lot of moon stuff coming up. So Monday, Tuesday, these all flew out, and I was like, no, 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 and the guide said, yes, yes, yes. So we have, I'm leaving them like this because it feels, look at the moon flanking both sides of this. So on the surface, right on the top of this pile was the moon. Underneath we had judgment. We have the storyteller, which in this deck is beautiful. Look at this beautiful card. So naturally I'm recording and I get interrupted by a family member. So again, we're in the ritual space. So anything that happens in the ritual space, I say this every fucking video, is part of the message. So I had a family member come through while I'm doing this, and they meant well. Like, they were coming to look for something that they thought they might have left here. Felt like they were bothering me. I was like, nope, this isn't good timing. So why am I saying this? I get a sense that if something comes up for you this week around a family member, especially because we're talking about ancestral healing, if something comes up around a family member, big invitation to be really mindful that this isn't happening to you, meaning this person is not purposefully trying to distract you. They're not purposefully trying to be hurtful. This is just like, we're all kind of like doing our own work, our own plan, and we're all woven together. So like sometimes it gets tricky navigating that. So, okay, so I was talking about that as I was talking about the moon. So I'm going to kind of like try to start again. I'm noticing this person beneath the moon, and also there's this like skeleton. So there's just, again, this emphasis on like the end of the death of this ancestral stuff. But I think it's going to take a lot of intuition, inner work. With the judgment here, like this, whenever I see the judgment, I think this is time. It's time. Ooh, I'm also getting with this judgment card, especially with the what just happened around me having to say to this family member, I'm in the middle of something. This isn't good timing. I did it from a place of love and respect, but firm boundary. Like, I love this. This is such a beautiful representation as I'm my little pixie self doing my pixie work. And I'm like, no, actually, I'm doing something. And I have this is my boundary. This is my line. I think that whatever comes up helps us to learn our boundaries. So remember, this is Monday and Tuesday. So really paying attention to like potentially family activation. There's definitely a message of there's something beneath this. It's time to transmute it. A boundary can be put in place here from like love, but firm, right? Then we have the storytellers, which is the Hierophant in other decks. And the Hierophant can be the ways like a mentor. It can be also like a lower expression would be where we're dogmatic. And again, I'm seeing this like the spiral of life, like it being time to reweave the stories in which we have been existing within, especially in our family structures. Again, I'm hearing if something comes up, please, 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 please try to remember that the emotions that are coming up for you is information. So is it frustration? Is it disappointment? Is it anger? Is it something, I'm thinking more about like challenging emotions, but also love could come up too. But I think because of it's, the ancestral healing, it's more about bringing love to some of the more challenging situations that we experience. Yeah, I'm seeing right now this as a snowflake, and it reminds me of how unique we all are. And like we're made up of all these different like drops of particles in the universe, but we're really on our unique path. So how do we accept that we're part of all of the parts of our family and our ancestral lineage, and also we're here to do our own unique work, spiraling upwards and being supported? How can we feel into the support that's available to us at this time? Then we have the Druid, which I think is so beautiful. This is the High Priestess. And this again is about a journey. Look at this card. There's really an invitation, a journey available for us here. An inward journey. We have the moon. Remember, that's the full moon this week. So I kind of love that we've got so much moon energy with this. There's something here like I'm hearing we're between cycles. And at a full moon phase, we're really at a point where we're seeing something clearly. Again, the sun is really shining to invigorate you in order for you to see the truth of a situation, see the truth of where these, again, moon is really about your emotional world or inner world. There is light really being shown on your inner world. I think this could be an emotional week, but not like, I'm not getting like overrun by emotions, but lots of awareness around what we are feeling into. And, oh, that's what this is. Noticing in our body, oh, that's what this is. That's where this might be coming from. I'm noticing the berries here, and there's a lot of richness. It's again, I'm getting, it's harvest time. It's time for you to be doing this work. You are supported and ready. The cat and the moon. This is fantastic. Again, with the lunar symbolism. I'm going to read from this deck. This is fantastic. But intuitively, it's curious the way we have the same kind of moon symbolism. And curiously, I'm thinking about how ancient cats are, right? They've been honored for a really long time. And maybe the altar you're making is to your lineage, right? Thank you all who came before me. Yes, I know your pain. Yes, I feel your pain in my body because I still carry it, but it ends here with me. This naked type of breed cat makes me think of the vulnerability that you will need to step into in order for you to move into this phase of work. I'm going to read for this cat moon card. So it talks about mystery, intuition, and reinvigoration. Despite being domesticated for centuries, cats remain mysterious to us. They are creatures of duality, gentle but sometimes cruel, patient yet curious and unpredictable. Mythically living 9 lives, their timelessness only adds more mystery to their personality. The moon casts deceptive shadows, requiring intuition to determine truth, which is what we talked about in the beginning, the introduction. The crescent moon represents the feminine, creative energy and acts as a conduit for new ideas. Listen to your intuition. There's more going on than you realize and may be worth doing some research on to find out more. Don't rush it. Instead, try to work out the motives of all players, check your facts, and carefully lay the groundwork for an unexpected plan of action. again, this is so clear to me that this is regarding ancestry and the plan of action being more centered around how you move forward given the circumstances in which you have existed within, like your family structure. Whew, we have a lot going on this week. Midweek, we have the Two of Cups with Birch Forest. And I love the Two of Cups for connection and connectivity. And I do feel like there'll be some sweetness. So this is when we'll have the Mars. It's when we're having the full moon, but also it's when we're having the Mars-Venus interaction. And I'm hearing right now bringing intimacy to a situation, and this doesn't have to be sensual intimacy, but I'm really seeing shared space, like connecting with someone over tea in order for you to discuss the root of what's been coming up for you. There's a lot of space, and it's really important to name and sit with and discuss what is coming up for you right now. I think there's a lot of medicine in having someone to bounce off what's coming up for you around. I love Birch Forest coming up too, because this talks about beginnings and regeneration and potential. And it says like life is bringing you a chance to start a new journey, to forge a better future for yourself and those you love. Don't let fear hold you back. The universe is guiding you, gently whispering to you in time. You are safe on this path. And you have to take the first step. Yeah, I mean, maybe you're someone who is like, why me? Why me? And why I say why me is like, why me healing the lineage? And there's some frustration and hurt that can come up with this. But also, there's never been a better time. I feel like the astrology, the universe, we have more support than ever to work with this magic, this medicine. Why not you? Yeah, big invitation to connect with someone midweek to kind of sit in the emotions that's coming up for you. And the final thing I'll say is I'm hearing there are some opportunities for some body healing. Invitation to work with hawthorn this week. That's heart medicine. Hawthorn, you can work with the berries or the flowers or an essence. There are a lot of good hawthorn teas out there. And maybe you work with that this week, maybe making some iced hawthorn tea, working with the heart medicine. Leo is the ruler of the heart and bringing this solar energy. There's something here around like, also I'm imagining right now, like, okay. I'm the guys are like, oh, okay. Brewing a cup of hawthorn tea with perhaps, and sharing it with someone and putting in some intentions for healing and love and like soothing and coming into coherence with your heart and the heart medicine and the plasma coming in from the sun, charging your heart at this time. But like lots of intentionality around that as you're brewing this hawthorn tea and sharing it with someone else. There's medicine in sharing it with another. Finally, at the end of the week, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have the sun with scarlet ibis and abalone. And I love this because the sun bookending the week from the moon in the beginning of the week tells me that we are continuing to come into greater realization of what is ripe and what is prime and ready to be seen in its full light. I'm curious about this card. I'm going to look into this to see if it offers what is wanting to be brought into the light. Look at this, like, again, great week for like sensuality. Not always in partnership. I think sensuality can be a space where you feel into your own body and you're adorning yourself in things that make you feel really lit up and beautiful. Picking flowers, being really present with flowers, being present with the feeling of the sun on your skin. If you live near water, I think that this is a great day to get to the beach or the lake, and really the weekend is a great time to be charging in this energy. So this Scarlet Ibis card talks about maybe a different perspective. So maybe while you were over tea and talking with a loved one, you were given a different perspective of how you can move through some of the ancestral stuff that's coming up for you this time. I would not be surprised that most of us are experiencing some sort of ancestral activation at this time. And I think there's a lot of medicine again in having someone hold space, because sometimes we're so in our own soup, it's hard for us to come out of it and see what's really at the core of it. So in sharing this, maybe you were offered a different perspective, and that's where the light is being shown, is on this new perspective. Where can you take this perspective? And maybe at first it was jarring or it brought some friction and you didn't like the way the different perspective felt. And there's an invitation here for you to consider, well, how is this true and real for me? Is what I'm doing working for me? Is the beliefs, the strategies in which I've been navigating my world, my life, my evolution currently working for me at this time? By the end of the week, there is space for you to see more clearly that there is other options, other ways to, again, unweave. I just keep seeing a web through this whole reading. This beautiful web that is being woven and then rewoven, and we forget that we have more tools than we realize to be the weavers of our own stories. And also there's value in the web that's already been woven for us. So how do we just use both, right? It's duality. Where was it talking about duality? I think it was in the cat card. Big reading this week and such beautiful energy. I am so excited to know how this lands for you. Please feel free to leave a comment, reach out to me on Instagram. Let's do a reading. A lot of this ancestral work and the patterns and stuff speak to some of the work that I am passionate about right now. So if you're more interested in getting to the core of some of the stuff coming up for you and you're needing this different perspective, please feel free to reach out to me. I will link my website below or find me on Instagram at Softedgescollective. Thanks as always for being here. I love doing this. I love the community this is bringing together, and I'm wishing you the best and most loving, clearing, clarity, healing week as we continue to move through the intensity of 2026. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the other side.